to the drop bar. Alawali stepped out of the truck. He walked towards the lone guard when he realized he had left his jacket and his Beretta in the truck. He still had the stun grenades. He shouted at the guard, demanding that he raise the bar. The guard refused. Alawali pulled the pin out of one grenade and threw it at the guard. There was an explosion. The guard ran away, shouting. Azam drew the Beretta from Alawali's jacket and began firing at the embassy windows. Alawali began to run. A moment later, Azam pressed the detonator button. The explosion tore a crater in the ground. It blasted windows and tumbled concrete, and made men and women fly through the air as they died. Nearby, Haile Selassie Avenue was strewn with debris. The windows of the cooperative bank house facing the avenue were blown by the blast. The American ambassador was knocked unconscious by the blast and cut by flying glass. The small bank building behind the embassy collapsed onto the Chancery's emergency generator, spilling thousands of gallons of diesel fuel into the basement of the embassy. The diesel fuel ignited. 212 people died in the attack. 4,000 were wounded. One woman, a Kenyan tea lady from the Afundi House offices, was trapped under the rubble. Her name was Rose Wanjiku. Rescuers, including Marines and an Israeli Special Rescue Unit, tried to reach her. She communicated with them constantly. She had been buried for 5 days. She died several hours before they finally reached her. Mohammed Ode landed in Karachi on the morning of August 7, a short time after the attack. As he went through immigration, the first news of the bombing could be heard on the radio. He smiled. He passed through the airport and stepped out into the sunshine. Once outside, he located a phone box and dialed a number. "Emir," he said into the silence of the mouthpiece. He took a deep breath. "With the grace of God, we are successful." Part 1. The Secret War. Puddles of Light. In the summer, the sunlight falls down on Vientiane and turns walls and people translucent. Puddles of sunlight collect in street corners, and scooters pass through them and splash light onto shop fronts and down to the canals that run through the city toward the Mekong. The sunlight stains shirts with dark patches of sweat and sends dogs to seek shelter in the shade of parked cars. Peddlers move sluggishly along the road with their wares of bamboo baskets, fruit, and red pork baguettes. The whole city seems to pause, its skin shining, and wait for the rains to come, and bring with them some coolness. Joe put down the book on the low bamboo table and sighed. The small china cup before him contains strong Laotian mountain coffee, sweet with the 2 sugars he liked to use, which was overdoing it, he knew, but that was the way he liked it. Beside him was an ashtray containing 2 cigarette stubs. Also on the table was a soft packet of cigarettes and a Zippo lighter, a plain one, which sat on top of the cigarettes. He sat, as he did every morning, in the small coffee shop facing the car park of the Talat Sao market in downtown Vientiane. Through the glass windows, he could watch the girls walk past. The book was a worn paperback with a garish, colorful cover. It showed a multi-story building in the final stages of collapse, a dusty African street, and people running away from a blast. The book was called Assignment Africa, and in an only slightly smaller subtitle announced it as the 3rd title in the series Osama Bin Laden, Vigilante. The unlikely name of the author was Mike Longshot. Joe reached for the packet on the table and extracted a cigarette, his 3rd. He lit up with the Zippo and stared out of the window. Soft jazz played in the air. Every morning Joe came here, walking the half-hour distance from his apartment on Sok Paluang Road, past the bus station and the adjacent fruit and vegetable market.